Hey, what's up guys? Mr. Fix It again. Yep, working on the cross cart some more. This time, I want to add a fan switch. Stay tuned.
I was sitting out there in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the wall. And
So I have my fan on this wired up already just to be on and off, right? But what I would like to have is fan that comes on and off automatically, because it does draw down the electrical system quite a bit, and I don't want it running constantly if I can get away from it. And when I'm out there ripping this thing, I'm not thinking about turn fan on, turn fan off. It's either on all the time or I forget to turn it on. So it's kind of putting a drain on my battery. So my plan here is I have this cooling fan switch, and I need a place to put it. I've been experimenting with this, and it's kind of hard to experiment with because the engine's got to be hot and warmed up, and conditions got to be right. So I've been trying this in a few different locations. Haven't found a good one yet that will turn the fan on long enough to actually cool the engine, but actually turn back off, you know, at a reasonable time. So back over here to the engine. Looking at my spare engine here, this is the tachometer drive, which I no longer use since I have an electronic tach on this. If you look at this motor, the exhaust is right there coming up, so the exhaust would be coming up this way. So if I tuck my sensor in back here and replace this, I think that'll get me the temperature I need to kick the thing on, but still be close enough to the fan that I think this will work. So to the lathe. So I'm basically going to remake this without a gear in it. There needs to be a shoulder here because there's a metal clip that holds it in. It's already threaded on the inside. This is threaded on the outside. So if I remake this same size shape part without the shaft in it, with the threads of this, I should be able to just screw that into there and then plug that back in the motor and get rid of this, which I don't need anyway. And you can see it's collecting dirt and all kinds of detritus. So two birds, one stone here. Alright, I got my piece of steel chucked up in the lathe here. I'm going to turn down that part, but I'm not going to make you guys watch all that. You'll see when it's done. Alright, there's a little part made. I hollowed that out just to reduce some of the weight. Cut that off for clearance. Threaded that for the sensor. So let's see if this will all fit together. Alright, going in that hole. So I got that flat spot to clear that. Snaps right in. Got this clip that goes there to hold that in, and a screw. Alright, in order to get into that, I gotta take the exhaust off, so let me do that. Alright, now let me see if I can get this thing out of here. Oh, there it is. Okay, get this guy in there. Come on. You can do it. There it went. Oh, I'm getting exhausted. See what I did there? Smartened up and put some gloves on. Alright, well, let's see if this thing's going to work or not, or if it's going to melt down in the exhaust back there. It might help to plug the other coil in. Oops. Yeah, let's get this plugged back in. I guess it'll run on two. Yeah, that sounds better. Alright, let this thing warm up, see if it's going to do what it's going to do. Well, it did kick on. Kicked on at 190. Bringing the temperature down. See how long it stays on when it shuts off. Just kicked off. Just below 180, so like 178. Let's see if it kicks back on at 190 again in cycles. I'll try to catch that on camera. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer this time. There, it kicked on. Waited till 200 that time. At some point I imagine it's just going to stay on. Bump up the RPM just a little bit to get the charging system a break. Oh, there it kicked off, just above 180. That took about 5 minutes. There's the fan kicked on again. Seems to be waiting a little bit longer every time. See it drawing on the battery. I got the headlights on too. Let me turn those off. Give it just a little throttle. That oil pressure gauge does not seem to be very accurate. It's like it don't even move, it just kind of stays right there. Or that's what my oil pressure is right now. Seems to be cooling it down. Definitely taxing my battery at idle. Charges fine when you get it off idle, but and I'm gonna have to look at my oil pressure. I don't know if this gauge is right. It seems to work when it's cold. It goes all the way up to almost 70. And there, shut off again right there at 180 degrees. It's doing the thing. Yeah, it don't make no sense. You'd think as good as it ran if it only had 14 psi oil pressure. I think it's just reacting real slow. Like I tried to bleed the air out of it, but I don't know if that did it or what. Alright, so I was worried about that wire getting burned on the exhaust. It was very close. It was like that far away from it. So it was probably more than likely going to get burnt. So I'm trying to figure out some way to keep this from getting too hot. One thing I did is I shortened this. I can't shorten it too much because these threads are almost as big as this diameter, so I can't bring this any further down. So, but I did shorten this about 1/8 of an inch or so, a little more. And one other thing I can do is put a little heat shield on this. So I got this little piece of aluminium for you other folks out there. I think I'm just gonna put that on there and then tape it on. I wish I had some of that fiberglass sheathing I thought I had some of that, but I can't find it anywhere. So if I find that, that's definitely going to go on. But I think I'm going to put this on here. That'll help keep some heat off of that wire. Maybe this thing will survive. So I do have some of this plastic stuff, so I'm just going to use this. If I find something better in the future, I'll more than likely replace it. I just want this to survive. It works the way I want it to. So here we go, back on the buggy. One other thing I can do is I got some of this aluminum tape for doing furnace ducting. Wrap some of that around the pipe right there. And with the header wrap and everything else, I think it's going to be good to go. We'll find out, I guess. Yeah, that looks way happier in there. There's a gap, got that heat shield in between. I think it's gonna be good. All right. Yeah, that was a cold ride. So the fan switch seems to be working. It is winter, it's pretty cold. So we'll see how it does in the summer. Kind of worried about it getting cooked by the exhaust back there. It's pretty close. So this is probably not the end of all the things I'm gonna be doing to this thing. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.